largest early vote drive here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome to it. Your last chance in many communities to early vote. A lot of them do have early voting this weekend as well. But today is the last day we're going to be on the air of early voting, in-person absentee balloting. No early voting on Monday. The final vote, spring election, is on Tuesday. As always, if you would like to take part in the state's largest early vote drive, all you need to do is first, this is kind of a key part of it, vote. Early vote and then text me at 414-799-1130 on the adventknows.com talk and text line to let me know about it. I want to hear if you've gotten anyone else in your family or circle of friends to early vote. You can also reach me toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. Best place, by the way, where you can send me news tips, things that you might want me to investigate, things that you think I might be interested in. Sources, of course, are always 100% of the time fully protected. You can watch our show streaming live on X at Dan O'Donnell Show via the Dan O'Cam, also running on youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. I was just informed by StreamYard, which we use for streaming, there might be some issues with streaming on Facebook. I think we're streaming on Facebook, but we might not be. Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Please do share the show. That is huge. We are doing very, very well on X, which is the free speech platform. On the two platforms that are not explicitly dedicated to free speech, YouTube and Facebook, our numbers are, well, way down. That means if you're watching on YouTube, we want you to let us know by sharing the show. Like, subscribe, make sure that you are a true Dan O'Donnell fan. I was just informed that we are, in fact, streaming on Facebook, so it looks like StreamYard got their interface issues figured out. So share the show. If you're watching, just shoot a share and let everybody else know. All right, jam-packed show today. Our annual interview with Milwaukee Archbishop Jerome Listecki, slightly bittersweet because it's very possibly, and I think very likely, going to be our last Good Friday interview with Archbishop Listecki as he has submitted his retirement to the Vatican, and it's probable that the Vatican is going to select his replacement relatively quickly. I'd always, of course, welcome him back as Archbishop Emeritus, but it's just a sign of changing times. 75 is the mandatory retirement age for cardinals and bishops, and once you reach that, not really much of a choice. I wish we had that for politicians, by the way. You hit 75, that's it. Done. Fini. Out. Time for the next generation to move in. A pair of visits to New York City for a pair of presidents, Biden and Trump, that could not possibly have been different. President Trump was in New York City to meet with the family of slain police officer Jonathan Diller, who was killed in a shooting. The suspect, Guy Rivera, is under arrest and charged with his death. President Trump also attended the funeral along with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of New York's finest. This is what the president had to say.
Police are the greatest people we have. There's nothing and there's nobody like them, and this should never happen. I just visited with a very beautiful wife that now doesn't have her husband. Stephanie was just incredible. Their child, brand new, beautiful baby, sitting there innocent as can be, and doesn't know how his life has been changed. But the Diller family you'll never be the same. You can never be the same. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working. This is happening too often.
It certainly is. And you now have thousands of police officers and millions of law enforcement officers across the country, as if they didn't know already, with a better understanding of just how much former President Trump cares about them, cares about the work they do, and just as importantly, stands with them through thick and thin. As I said, President Biden was also in New York City for a glitzy fundraiser with two former presidents, Obama and Clinton, performances by the likes of Lizzo, and didn't even bother to pick up the phone and call the family of Jonathan Diller, as White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre confirmed to reporters on Air Force One on the way out to NYC.
President Biden will be in New York City for most of the day doing fundraising. Former President Donald Trump is going to the wake of the NYPD officer. I wondered if, you mentioned that the president spoke to Mayor Adams. I wonder if he'd spoken to the family of the officer. And also, Trump is blaming a lot of crime on Biden. I just wondered if you could speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I don't have any private communications to share at this time. Our hearts go out, obviously, to the officer's family and the broader NYPD family who have tragically lost one of their own. The president grieves for them and honors their sacrifice. Look, the president has stood with law enforcement his entire career and continues to stand with them as they put their lives on the line for their communities. Under his leadership, we'll continue to support police officers and ensure that they have resources they need to continue to do the work, the all-important work that they have to do on behalf of the community.
That was a long word salady way of saying, no, the president didn't speak with the family. He has no plans to ever speak with the family. And yeah, we care about law and order. But just as there was that contrast between why President Biden and why President Trump were in New York, one man was going to raise $25 million from Lizzo and her ilk. The other was attending a funeral for a fallen police officer killed because of the very sorts of policies that President Biden and Democrats support. But just as there was that contrast, there was also the contrast of President Trump standing shoulder to shoulder with New York police officers. And outside President Biden's event last night, utter and complete chaos from the pro-Palestinian crowd. Not gonna lie, they got a good drummer this time. There were clashes with police officers, of course, shoving matches and all of that. Wherever it seems Biden goes, there is a certain modicum of chaos from these people, including inside the event. There were three presidents on stage, Obama, Biden, and Clinton. Yet somehow these psychopaths got in the building. They were kind enough to live stream their screeching.
There was an insurrection.
Shame on you, Joe Biden! Shame on you! Shame on you! You are a genocide of Palestine, and no amount of full concern that you will change the billions that you are doing! You did blood on your hands!
I wish you could have seen the video, folks. She's still shrieking as one of the security guards has her in a reverse bear hug, and he's dragging her out of the building. Well, after she stopped, of course, there's never just one of these crazies. There's always two or three. There was another dude who started screaming a little bit later.
Palestinians are dying right now because of your actions. Palestinians are dying right now because of your actions. Because of what you're doing. Because of the things that you're doing.
Shame. Stop brutalizing him. Stop brutalizing him.
He was saying, the guy who is actually filming this other crazy getting hauled away, stop brutalizing him when the security guard was just grabbing him and dragging away. That was brutalization to the pro-Palestinian people. So if they think that's brutalization, you'll have to forgive me if I don't quite believe that Israel is really committing a genocide. If getting lightly dragged away by a security officer is police brutality, I'm taking a wild guess that legitimate acts of war are not genocidal. This is a serious and ongoing problem for Biden. And I believe they all know it. Wherever he goes, wherever Kamala goes, wherever pretty much any Democrat goes, they are being trailed by the pro-Palestinian mob. Last night on CNN, while talking about Bobby Kennedy Jr., Lee Carter, who is a pollster and Democrat strategist, said something that I think Democrats in the back of their minds are terrified of. RFK Jr. is running as the explicitly anti-war candidate. Joe Biden has pumped untold billions into the war in Ukraine. He is also seen by a whole lot of members of this pro-Palestinian mob of aiding and abetting genocide in Gaza. If only a small percentage of the old anti-war Cindy Sheehan movement flocks to RFK Jr., Biden's in a world of hurt.
It's why when you start looking at polling when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. comes into the mix, it actually hurts Joe Biden. That's because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has now gone all in. He's anti-war. He's picked an anti-war candidate to run with, and that's now going to be his big platform. And I think that's going to be enough to really spoil the election should Robert F. Kennedy Jr. get in.
They are all scared of that. They're not scared of Trump per se. What they're really scared of is Bobby Jr., Jill Stein, and Cornel West taking just enough of their psychopath left-wing vote base so that Biden can't compete in the critical swing states. I use Wisconsin as a clear example. In 2016, Trump won by about 20,000 votes. Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, got about 31,000 votes here. The Wisconsin Elections Commission in 2020 violated the law, violated their own policies in keeping the Green Party off the ballot. Joe Biden won by 20,000 votes. There could not possibly be a clearer example of just how dangerous Bobby Kennedy is for Democrats. Now, I heard Jimmy Carville, also on CNN last night, say, well, you know, he might actually take away votes from Donald Trump. No, he's not. He might take some, but he's clearly taking more, especially with an anti-war stance that is designed to appeal to the very people who are tracking Joe Biden across the country because of his supposed support for genocide. This is a very real problem. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style.
Join us for our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Awards, live from the Dolby Theater in Hollywood.
Monday, April 1st. Watch on Fox, starting at 7 p.m. and listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Otezla Aprenolast is a proud partner of the iHeartRadio Music Awards, a celebration of artists and the fans who got them there. The fans who make the music truly come alive through their energy and positive vibes. To the fans that make live music possible, we salute you.
I'm the benefit company's Kurt Otto. iNet Marketing is more than a marketing agency or web developer. Over decades, iNet has become a business mentor, helping businesses see pathways to increase profitability.
Advice we often give is do what makes your business money better than anyone, and insource iNet to implement Grave Genius, making sure people know and choose your business. Similarly, insourcing the benefit companies for business administration is smart business.
We started seeing results as soon as our iNet website was published, and even more when we went live on the radio. This January, first implementation of new business was more than in many years. iNet marketing really worked.
Keeping businesses regulation compliant and helping implement strategic efficiencies, the benefit companies enhances business profitability.
Our brand, Steve Created InSource, is genius. iNet branding, logo design, our radio advertising accurately present our value and work.
InSource, the benefit companies. Connect and simplify.com.
We highly recommend iNet Creative Genius Marketing.com.
iNetDishweb.com.
Traffic jams, tailgating, pileups. Ugh, the joys of driving. How could it get worse? The federal government wants to have a say in what you drive. That's right. The Biden administration's EPA is pushing mandates that would ban 2 out of every 3 vehicles on the road today. Don't let Washington become your backseat driver. Protect the freedom of driving your way. Visit EnergyCitizens.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Largest early vote drive continues here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Don from Fox Lake voted for the almighty Orange Man. Hello, Dan. My wife, myself, and my daughter early voted yesterday in the town of Farmington, quick and easy. This is something we as Republicans need to do in order to get our country back. Keep up the great work. Thanks. Nice. Dan, fellow Ireland and Alaska cruisers Jack and Leanne from Sun Prairie, we both voted yesterday, and friends Dave and Janice also voted. Oh, that's fantastic. Jack and Leanne, thank you so much for being such loyal Dan O'Donnell listeners. Really, really do appreciate it. John and Barbie early voted in Janesville. Thanks, Dan, for your good work. This is Trucker Steve from New Berlin. I voted early on Monday, first time ever, city of New Berlin. Good luck to all of us conservatives. Sandy and Bob voted yesterday in West Bend, about 12 to 14 people waiting in line. Great job. Early voted this morning and taking my husband this morning. Thanks for all you do. Those just a tiny fraction of all of the texts we've received just in the last 20 minutes. In fact, I am still scrolling through all of them. I'm so proud of you folks. We are trying to get as many people as humanly possible early voting so that we can get rid of early voting to try to prove to Democrats that we are much better at this than they are, and to try to get them to beg us to go back to same-day voting. Also, it's just smart strategy. If an advantage is available to you, such as banking votes as early as you possibly can, think about it, as loyal listener Scott in St. Francis did, as a basketball game. Is it better to build up a 20-point lead in the first quarter or be down 20 going into the fourth quarter? I rest my case. Speaking of basketball, Marquette takes on NC State in the Sweet 16. Tip-off set for, is it 6 o'clock today, Dave? 6:07 p.m. If you really want to be precise. It is also opening day for the Milwaukee Brewers on this Good Friday. 12:40 p.m. first pitch there. Big sports day. It is also, of course, Good Friday. Coming up in about 10 minutes, our annual interview with Milwaukee Archbishop Jerome Listecki. But first, we go back to New York for last night's dueling fundraisers between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Donald Trump wasn't there to take in $25 million. He was there to meet with the grieving family of a New York police officer. Biden, however, was at a glitzy fundraiser with Obama and Clinton and Lizzo and any number of other performers. He raised $25 million, and CNN just could not help itself. They brought on Harry Enton to rub it in that Biden is taking in so much more money than Trump. And they snidely said, here's how many of his stupid Bibles and shoes he'd have to sell to match that total.
A little bit more context. How much would Trump need to sell to reach $25 million? You know, he's selling those Bibles, those God Bless the USA Bibles. He would need to sell more than 400,000 of those to reach $25 million. And remember those Trump Never Surrender sneakers, he would have to sell approximately 62,657 of them. So that's why he's looking forward to that big fundraiser next month. Because simply put, this type of stuff, this gimmicky stuff, ain't going to get him there, Laura.
Yeah, look at that moron selling his Bibles to the gullible rubes. Look at him selling his gold sneakers. I will remind you, Hillary Clinton outspent Trump in 2016 by more than 2-1. How did Trump win? Because people were fed up with liberal Democrat policies. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think liberal Democrat policies over the last 3 years and change have done better than they were under the Obama administration, or decidedly worse? Think about what you're spending on Easter, for goodness sake. So we have actually got a story about just how much more expensive Cadbury cream eggs and jelly beans are this year. Think about illegal immigration. Think about crime. Think about everything that impacts people. Now think about the optics of one president saying crime is a massive issue, and we have got the bravest men and women in this country falling victim to these destructive liberal policies. I will reverse them, much as he was saying in 2016. And you've got another guy partying with Lizzo, essentially saying, let them eat cake. For Lizzo, that would be eating the entire cake. But the optics couldn't be clear. Which man is more of a man of the people? Good old Scranton Joe or the New York billionaire? It's kind of remarkable, isn't it? That it really is the New York billionaire. And that's being reflected not just in polling, where Trump is leading in pretty much every swing state, on every issue. Fox Business just did a poll, and it was on economics. Which Biden policy has benefited you the most? What has Biden done that's benefited you the most? Do you know what won with 38% of the vote? Nothing. Nothing. There is nothing Biden has done that has benefited me. That was far and away the winner. That's actually kind of remarkable. That people said, Biden hasn't really done anything. He's largely terrible. And yeah. Biden has a worse approval rating in an election year for any incumbent president since polling started. The only one who comes close was George H.W. Bush in 1992. And wouldn't you know it? In 1992, where Bush had a 34% job approval rating in the last month of the campaign, October of 1992. He was an incumbent president, and there was a third-party candidate who got about 19% of the vote in Ross Perot. Fast forward to 2024, Joe Biden has a job approval rating right now of about 37 to 38%. He's underwater on every single major issue. And there is a popular third-party candidate named Bobby Kennedy who's getting about 19% of the vote in pretty much all polls. We talk with Milwaukee Archbishop Jerome Listecki coming up after this on The Dan O'Donnell Show. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires, it's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
I'm Dan Voss, owner of Cut & Go Tree Services. Cut & Go's remote-controlled truck-mounted articulated grapple saw can clean up or even remove dead trees no matter how high or how overwhelming the crazy winter damage is this year. Cut & Go will remove damaged branches, limbs, and whole trees if needed. Then clear up the yard, leaving your property looking good and your trees ready for a spectacular growing season. A tons of trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Dan here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. I'm joined by the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. Federal Reserve keeps interest rates steady. No real surprise there. Also saying that we are still going to get interest rate cuts this year. No real surprise there. Dave, still 2 to 3 cuts starting in June?
Yeah, I think that you're going to hear Chairman Powell, they talk about birds when they talk about the Federal Reserve, hawks, doves, and perhaps even a chicken. And that's what we're going to probably hear in June is, do we kick that can down the road and start to see cuts in June? That is what they're starting to signal. The reason why I think it's important is because savers finally have an opportunity to earn some money. And we talk about going to the bank and earning 5% on a CD or in a money market. Those rates will not be around forever, Dan. And so people should start thinking about what they're going to do. Should they lock in longer rates and perhaps CDs, perhaps buy some bonds? Because we all know that when interest rates go down, bond prices go up. These are the things to think about, but there will be a move before the election. I think that's pretty obvious that we're going to hear that. But one final point I want to make, people hear about inflation starting to slow down. They have to remember that inflation is the rate of change. That doesn't mean that the price of gas is going down or the price of a gallon of milk is going down. It just means that the prices are not going up as fast as they were. If inflation comes down to 2 or 3%, you got to know how that works in your portfolio, and there's a way to find out.
Well, that's sort of the thing in that we don't quite know what interest rates are going to do. We don't understand exactly what the Fed is going to do. We just need to be able to be best positioned and best prepared for whatever might happen. And that's why you need to talk to somebody who is working with and for you. Get a free wealth metric at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Hot summer night, lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show on this Good Friday. It is a tradition. Every year we talk with Milwaukee's Archbishop Jerome Listecki, but this year it's a little bittersweet because, Archbishop, this might be the last year you and I are talking, at least with you as Archbishop and not Archbishop Emeritus.
Yeah, and you're absolutely correct. Obviously, when I turned 75, according to canon law, you have to turn in your resignation to the Pope. I dutifully did so, good servant of the church, and so that's basically a requirement of all ordinaries, individuals, bishops who govern a diocese or archdiocese. So I turned in my resignation, and now we wait. We wait for the Pope to, one, accept it, wait for the Pope to make a determination as to who will come in to replace me.
How long does that usually take? Because the Archbishop of La Crosse had some health issues. He was replaced within about a year or so. You're in perfect health, as I understand it.
Well, thanks a lot. You know, as we all know, that can change in an instant, and it probably the over/under becomes a little more significant as you get 75 and beyond. So with that, when there's an ordinary who is ill, usually there's a consideration for that role. And La Crosse was given Battersby, a wonderful auxiliary from Detroit, to take over and replace a really beloved individual, Bishop William Callahan, who was the auxiliary bishop under Cardinal Dolan and myself here in Milwaukee.
So, I mean, realistically, how long does this process take for someone like you in good health? Like, how long does it take for the Pope to accept your resignation? Because you filed that 2 months ago? Ish.
File the
resignation.
No, the resignation is on your birthday.
Oh, it just automatically happens.
So it's automatic.
Okay.
That's right. So
you can't draw it out a little bit.
No. So unless you have reasons like health,
sure.
You know, but no, it's basically right on your birthday. You send it in. It's put in a diplomatic pouch and sent over to basically the Vatican. And I would probably say there wasn't any urgency about it. So as a result, it'll be put in with the stack of others that will be coming in. And we think we have a very myopic view, and I thank God for that, because we're concerned about basically the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. But when you're looking at the Pope he's looking at the entire world and the 1.2 billion Catholics that are a part of it. I can tell you this, that there'll be a number of bishops in the United States, and the reason is most of us are what you would refer to as John Paul II bishops. my ordination as a priest was 75. So the ordination classes of 74, 75, and 76, a number of them were selected as bishops. So Cardinal Dolan, he's 76. So in 9 months, he'll be turning his resignation. Cardinal Supich in Chicago, he's 75, class of 75, so he turned 75, and he turned his a week after I did. Alan Vigneron, who is the Archbishop of Detroit, turned his in a few months before me. So you have just this number of JP2 bishops throughout the country that will need replacements. I think, my own sense is I think that Milwaukee will be a little bit more ahead of the list because we're in such good shape. The seminary is full. Our schools are tremendous. Now the recent kind of results is we went back to in-class learning. So, our tests are now a year and a half ahead of where they should be, not a year and a half behind. So, the Catholic school's doing very well. Catholic Charities, well respected, doing a great job for our 10 counties. So, I think it's an attractive aspect for a bishop, but the vetting is what takes place. And names are submitted, and then with the names that basically are vetted, the Congregation for Bishops selects a turna, 3 names, first, second, third, in preference, and submits that to the Pope. The Pope can choose 1, 2, or 3. He can choose somebody else if he has a personal relationship or understanding of the thing, or he can send the turna back to the congregation and say, "Give me 3 more names." But think in terms of all the vetting that has to take place. So, and it's usually another bishop that's usually recommended.
So, how does that work? Do you apply? For example, when Cardinal Dolan was named Archbishop of New York, did you apply? Did you submit a resume? How does that work?
Wine ads. So you put it in the newspaper.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Actually, what happens is the congregation itself solicits from various bishops who would have kind of an understanding of the character caliber of a bishop, another bishop, and then offer them as a basically suggestion. For instance, if I'm asked, I will be asked to submit 3 names of individuals that I think that have the character, capability, leadership to govern the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. But my recommendations will be listed in the same way and dealt with the same way as any other bishop that offers that. It won't only be bishops. I'm sure there'll be the solicitation of other individuals who will give it. But the bishop who's being considered won't even know. So when I was named, I had no idea I was coming to Milwaukee.
Really?
Really. I had no idea.
Did you just get a letter from the Vatican and said, "Hey, pack your bags"?
No, I got a call from the nuncio, and I was involved in an interview with the superintendent of Catholic schools for La Crosse, and I said to the secretary, I said, I'll call the nuncio back. I said, let me finish the thing, and then the secretary said, no, he wants to talk to you now. So whatever was conveyed, so I knew there was an urgency about what was done. So I begged my pardon from the superintendent. Basically, she left. I went to the phone, and I was told by the nuncio, Benedict had made his decision, and you are now the new Archbishop of Milwaukee. I thanked him for his consideration, thanked the Pope for his sense, but I said, I know there are many others who are more qualified to be able to do that position, and I was stopped in the middle of my sentence, and the nuncio said, Pope Benedict has made his selection, and you are the new Archbishop. So
so there's sort of no saying no.
There was no saying no to that. There was no saying no.
Now, when you came to Milwaukee, you took over a diocese that, let's face it, had some significant problems. As you look back at your tenure putting the diocese back to a position of not only fiscal health, but also restoring that trust that I think I think we can both be honest here, was lost a little bit based on what was going on long before you and also Cardinal Dolan arrived.
Yeah, I would say that the process had already started in terms of the restoring of the trust. Cardinal Dolan certainly did a lot. He is a great gregarious type of personality, and he's I've often heard many politicians tell me, he said, "Boy, I am glad I did not have to run against your predecessor." So he had that wonderful aspect, and I've often said this, that he established already kind of a rejuvenation of a sense, of a spiritual sense in the diocese, and so I was able to be able to dovetail onto that and to be able to do the things that were necessary. Right. It basically was going forward. And the other thing, I've said this publicly, that there's a richness of the faith of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee that I didn't think, given all the problems, should really have existed. But once I knew that, I knew we were going to be able to do whatever God wanted us to do with a great deal of sense of our dedication and a sense of holding out our love for Christ for the entire community.
And that's something that we really focus on, especially this time of year, our love for Christ, the sacrifice Christ made for us to die for our sins. And on this Good Friday, we really, in a real sense, feel that sacrifice, don't we?
We do. And, the aspect is you can't get to the empty tomb unless it's through the cross, because the cross is the ultimate statement of God's love for us. If you think about it, he sent his son so that we might have life to the full. And he did so by demonstrating his willingness to suffer and to die so that we might have life. So before we kind of just run to the empty tomb, we have to understand our identification with that cross, which is the greatest symbol of God's love.
And if you would, sir, perhaps, we don't know if this is going to be your final time as Archbishop of Milwaukee, joining us here on Good Friday on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Would you please give us your Easter blessing?
I certainly will. Thank you, Dan. To all our listeners and to the entire community, we understand God's great sacrificial love in the sense of giving us his son, willing to suffer and to die for us. May we now take up that cross and live for him fully in this world, so that with great confidence in God's love, we might experience not only this life, but the life yet to come. And may God's blessings be upon you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Archbishop Jerome Listecki, sir, thank you so much for joining us. All these years that we have been doing this, and I hope still as Archbishop Emeritus, whenever that may be, you'll come back and join us. Of course, we will be in touch, my friend. You've always been a great friend to this show, and I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, God bless. Thank you, Dan. Thanks.
Thank you. I am Dan O'Donnell. We'll be right back after this.
Don't let the stress of buying a new car outweigh the excitement. With Car Gurus, you can buy or sell a car exactly how you want. That's why millions of people use Car Gurus. Do all the upfront work online and search their massive selection by budget, make, model, and features. Compare prices to know you got the best deal, then head in for a test drive. Take charge of your buying or selling experience today and get it with Car Gurus at CarGurus.com. That's CarGurus.com.
For 17 incredible years, WISN listeners and I have traversed the 6 continents with Cruise and Tour, creating memories that will last a lifetime. I've paused my yearly travel for now, but there's no reason why yours shouldn't continue, and the 7th continent beckons. The holy grail for world travelers, the ultimate trip, Antarctica. Cruise and Tour is embarking on a small group expedition, and this is your ticket to the adventure. Antarctica is a sight to behold with its sprawling icebergs, pristine snowscapes, and majestic glaciers. Imagine navigating untouched waters with a small group of explorers. Each landing promises a canvas of unique landscapes as you walk where few humans have ever ventured. You'll encounter wildlife along the way, including those colonies of penguins you've longed to see. But that's only half the story. Your vessel, the World Navigator, has all the modern comforts you could want and caters to just 200 guests at a time. So prepare for an all-inclusive experience like no other. Gourmet dining, unlimited beverages, enriching lectures, and expert-guided shore landings. You'll even get your very own parka and vest to keep you warm. And here's the cherry on top. The adventure begins with 2 unforgettable nights in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This journey is mind-blowing, and Cruise and Tour offers unparalleled value. From flights to sightseeing, hotels to cruising, even extras like transportation, taxes, and gratuities, it's all taken care of. Check out all the details at cruise-tour.com. Or even better, give my friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131 to request a free brochure. Don't wait too long, though. Spots will fill up quickly. Secure your spot before it's gone.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Designer Yard Show. I want to share a landscaping secret with you. Winter is when our ornamental trees and shrubs need us most. We all know that plants need pruning, but why in the winter? Well, first, we can see their structure best when the leaves have fallen. And second, pruning is not so stressful when your plants are dormant. Pruning is affordable and makes a huge impact on the vitality and beauty of your trees and shrubs. So prune this winter and have gorgeous flowers next spring and summer. Pruning also helps keep your plants properly sized. No more dancing around them on the sidewalk or wrestling through them to wash your windows. Call today and schedule a complimentary evaluation of your ornamental plants. Our plant care experts will make sure your trees, shrubs, and perennials perform and look their best. Discover the wonders of nature. Call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
I'm Gersh Group's Peter Gersh. Businesses with accurate financials and resolved books monthly have predictable advantages over businesses that don't, like knowing what aspects of business are making money or not and how much, and advantages businesses can't anticipate, like recent access to free government money or preparedness to entertain potential buyers anytime. With current, accurate financials, you are free to run your business by the metric you're in business for, the money. Fostering success by the numbers, Gersh Group, gershgroup.com.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
Everything they say in their ads is true and then some. A very fair price, no real estate agent fees or closing costs. They even switched the utilities out of your name.
Within weeks, we had closed and couldn't be happier.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Our sincere thanks again to Archbishop Jerome Listecki. We will, of course, have him on when his retirement is official. It's very interesting, the process of, we actually talked off the air as well for quite a bit, the process of replacing bishops within the Catholic Church. And it's always great to hear from him, great friend of the show, great friend to me personally, and I wish him a very happy Easter. Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is probably going to be our first inductee into the Unhinged Liberal Hall of Fame. Joy Reid, every single night, every single show, there is something she says that I could use for Unhinged Liberal of the Day. In fact, when I'm hard up for nominees, and that's almost never, I can always just go back, find a highlight of her show, and play it. Well, Joy Reid on last night's show took aim at conservative critics of Baltimore's mayor, calling him a DEI mayor in the wake of that tragedy, the cargo ship taking out the Francis Scott Key Bridge. By the way, did I not predict it, Dave? There have already been articles written that when the bridge is renamed or rebuilt, it needs to be renamed for someone who is more inclusive and representative of Baltimore's community. I'm calling it right now, the Elijah Cummings Bridge. Just don't be surprised when that thing is rebuilt. It is no longer the Francis Scott Key Bridge. It's the Elijah Cummings Bridge. So Joy Reid was on her show last night and said that when Republicans say things like DEI mayor or talk about DEI generally, they're really saying they hate black people.
At this point, it's evident what they mean by DEI, right? Okay, it means black people. It's the reason the right complained about critical race theory. It's not fashionable to be openly racist anymore in America, unlike what they call the good old days. So referring to a black mayor as a DEI mayor gets the point across, right? So fellas, why not just say what you mean? You can't stand black people. We get it. You've been heard.
Actually, what we mean by DEI is pretty simple. Didn't earn it. Joy Reid also went on TikTok a little bit before her show to make a truly bizarre video. I didn't use that for the Unhinged Liberal, where she was saying pretty much the same thing. When you say DEI, we know you really mean black person. And in fact, on social media, Bishop Talbert Swan actually went a bit farther, saying when you say DEI, you mean the N-word. When you say critical race theory, you mean the N-word. When you say pretty much any radical leftist race-based Marxist theory that is pushed on academia and government and the private sector, you really mean the N-word. I didn't include the crazy Joy Reid because it was primarily video. It is just search Joy Reid TikTok. It's all over. But Joy Reid is your Unhinged Liberal of the Day. Coming up, we followed up yesterday on my exclusive report. And I was wrong, actually. I gave credit to Dan Bice for also reporting. It turns out it was an older story reporting on pretty much the same thing, which I mistakenly thought was new. So it was my exclusive. Even when I don't think I have exclusive reporting, I have exclusive reporting, ladies and gentlemen. The 50-1 fundraising advantage for the Democratic Party of Wisconsin over the Republican Party. Well, we actually followed up on the Belling Show yesterday with Brian Schimming, the chairman of the Wisconsin Republican Party. We had about a 16-minute interview in which, frankly, I grilled him about why it is that Democrats are taking in so much more money. His answers, I thought, were quite illuminating. Not just in why there is this massive disadvantage, but what it is specifically that Republicans are trying to do about it. We will get to that, plus the latest on the state's largest early vote drive, all coming up next when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Tad Allen. Police are investigating the death of a 4-month-old boy at a New Berlin in-home daycare business. Authorities say Tuesday someone called 911 to report an infant who wasn't conscious or breathing at the daycare. The infant was taken to a hospital where they died. The Wisconsin Department of Children and Families determined the child care business is unlicensed. Trust, pointing out that it's illegal to care for 4 or more children under the age of 7 without a license. The couple who owns the business hasn't been charged with any crimes connected to the death. The State Department of Children and Families is also looking into the matter. A large search operation for the missing toddler from Two Rivers. Police there say 70 teams of drone operators from police and sheriff's departments statewide joined the State Department of Natural Resources yesterday, looking for 3-year-old Elijah Vu. The boy has been missing since February 20th. Police say the search was concentrated in the community of Shodo and the town of Two Rivers, which authorities say is an area of interest. Crews are switching to a salvage and recovery effort at the scene of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse at the mouth of Baltimore Harbor. That'll involve removing the wreckage of the bridge and the huge cargo ship that struck it so the harbor can eventually reopen. Crews have recovered the bodies of 2 construction workers from the water. 4 others remain missing and are presumed dead. A National Transportation Safety Board investigation into the cause of the accident could take up to 2 years to complete. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard after a loss to the Pelicans in New Orleans last night, the Bucks next travel to Atlanta to face the Hawks. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Most people know us as a trusted landscape contractor, but did you know that we've been crafting decorative concrete and masonry features for almost 30 years? All concrete is not the same. Do you know what to ask for when planning a landscape project that includes concrete? For example, there are many types of concrete mixes available. And if you don't request a premium mix, you'll likely get a bargain mix. And a driveway or patio made with a bargain mix is not a bargain at all. We use only premium concrete mixes from trusted producers, and our decorative concrete and masonry features are crafted by our own artisans, not subcontractors. There's so much to consider when preparing for your landscaping project. Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services has been serving southeastern Wisconsin since 1994. We are an established, trusted landscape contractor. Please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Offering one of the strongest lineups of talk show hosts in the history of local radio. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN. Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Sunshine to kick off our Friday, but more clouds rolling this afternoon. Overcast by this evening with some rain late evening and overnight. High today near 50 inland, should be in the low 40s lakeside with a southeast breeze. 52 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Piggly Wiggly Supermarkets. ShopThePig.com.
Shop the Pig! Save big for your Easter celebration when you shop the Pig. Ham shank portions on sale this week at Piggly Wiggly. Savings for the season.
Piggly Wiggly, shop the Pig.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial.
And I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Buthan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Tanned, rested, and ready to inform, analyze, and entertain. Mark Belling is back to host his show the week of April 1st. No fooling. Listen 3 to 6 on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130, WISN.
The state's largest early vote drive here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, and we have gotten probably, I'm going to say 200 texts, emails, Facebook messages. Here's just a small sample from the last couple of minutes. Hi, Dan. I went in and voted early in Belgium, Wisconsin. Thanks for all you do. Hi, Dan. I recovered just enough from surgery Sunday to get to early vote in Oak Creek yesterday, from JB. Hi, Dan. My husband and I voted yesterday afternoon in the town of Hustisford and want to thank Agnes, our town clerk, for making it so easy, and you for your persistence in pursuing the early voting effort. Easter blessings from Ed and Kathy. Good morning, Dan. My hubby and I also voted yesterday in the village of Jackson, Perry and Carroll. Hi, Dan. Just got back from early voting in New Berlin. There really isn't anything else to vote on for us, but it's important to get your yes and yes votes in on the statewide referendum questions. Let's get out there, New Berlin, and give the folks working the tables something to do. Tell my friend Ty at the voting table, hi from Brad. Joyce from the village of Eagle early voted yesterday. I early vote most years, but I miss the excitement of Election Day. Thank you, Dan. I know, I miss it too, but this is incredibly important. If you'd like to take part in the last hour of the state's largest early vote show. Really, I shouldn't say that. It's going on all day tomorrow, all day Sunday. If you live in a community that has early voting those days, why not take it back? Go to Souls to the Polls if you can and head out there and early vote. There is no early voting on Monday. It's done on Easter Sunday. And I would strongly encourage you to take part and then let us know about it. AdventKnows.com talk and text line 414-799-1130. I'll continue reading some of those texts on Monday. 1-800-838-9476 is our toll-free talk and text line as well. As always, email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Watch the show streaming live on social media or on YouTube, youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and take part in the running commentary that we have got in the comments section on the Dan O'Donnell Show pages. Yesterday, I reported exclusively that the Democratic Party of Wisconsin so far in 2024 has taken in $5.5 million in donations. The Republican Party in Wisconsin, $111,000. So far in 2024, and the records are accurate as of March 18th. That was the end of the reporting period. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin had spent $2 million on spring election efforts to try to get the ostensibly nonpartisan candidates across the finish line. And as I reported exclusively a couple of days ago, they are spending $45,000. $45,000 on 2 school board candidates in Waukesha. 2. That's an enormous sum. Republicans have spent about $500,000 so far, primarily on their backed nonpartisan candidates. But clearly something is going on, something that is giving Democrats a massive advantage. And we saw the exact same thing play out in Wisconsin in the Supreme Court election a year ago. We saw the exact same thing play out in the November election a year and a half ago, where Governor Evers and his allies dramatically outspent Tim Michels and his. So I demanded some accountability from the chairman of the Wisconsin Republican Party, Brian Schimming. I had him on for about a 15, 16-minute interview yesterday on the Mark Belling late afternoon show and said, first of all, what is going on? Why are we being so dramatically outspent and out-fundraised? And what responsibility do you accept for this massive discrepancy? In about a 2-minute answer, and this is clipped, he gave about a 5-minute answer, and he explained, look, Democrats have figured out how to get their massive donors to give to the parties. Republicans don't. Republicans give to candidates. Well, that's a big problem here in Wisconsin, because there are no limits on how much big donors can give to the state Democrat and state Republican parties. And then there are subsequently no limits on what those parties can give to the candidates. If you give to the candidates directly, you are capped at a certain amount. It varies by what office the candidate is seeking. So it's a huge disadvantage to have donors, and especially mega donors, who can write $100,000, $200,000, $1 million checks that Democrats are to the state party as opposed to the candidates themselves. Well, here is how Schimming explained this massive discrepancy.
As Reince Priebus told me before I became chairman, and has said on WISN before, the context was he was talking about money that comes in from out of state, and he said Democrats and liberals love giving to causes, and Republican high donors love giving to candidates. And I believed him, of course, at that time, but as I talked to other state chairs around the country, it's not just Wisconsin. It's virtually every state in the country has money being shipped in, I apologize, from out of state. And so keeping up with that is a struggle for a lot of states. Wisconsin's not the only one, but I will tell you, we will get to the resources we need. In fact, I just got off the phone with the chairman not long ago, Chairman Wadley, who was in town, that is to say in Milwaukee, a week ago last Monday, and the other states are feeling the heat. We are too, but we are shipping it in as fast and furious as we can to local government candidates, and we've had a lot of successes there. This will be our 4th year now working on local elections, because a lot of us have a commitment to win locally. In this case of what you're talking about, certainly in Waukesha School Board, where you're absolutely right on those races. So I'll have a hard dollar amount of over $500,000 plus probably another 50 to 60 in mail and other tens of thousands of dollars in direct transfers. So you know what? As much as I'd rather have more money, I'll take our cost per vote on the Democrats for the past several years any day of the week.
To which I responded, who cares what the cost per vote is if the opponent is spending unlimited amounts of money per vote? vote. Okay, that's great. You're only spending $500 per vote. If your opponent is spending $5,000 per vote, so long as they get more votes, how much they're spending is irrelevant. It would be like if the Green Bay Packers were playing the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs, and the Packers outgained the Niners 500 yards to 150 yards. Well, if those 150 yards result in 4 touchdowns and the Packers lose 28-10, it doesn't matter how many yards the Packers gained if they only resulted in 10 points. So Schimming was predictably defensive about what the Republican Party of Wisconsin was doing. And I don't mean defensive as a, I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, because what he was saying is, look, we're getting far more donors from here in Wisconsin. That massive fundraising discrepancy is because of 4 donors. 4 donors for Democrats gave about $4 million to $5 million this year. That accounts for the entire discrepancy. To which I said, yes, okay, I get that. We've got more small donors, and there's nothing wrong. Folks, there is absolutely nothing wrong. $50 to $100 donations, whatever you can give, if you feel like giving, do so. What I am saying is, and this is a sad commentary on where we are as a body politic and as a democratic nation, that you really do have to rely on mega donors, billionaires. And look at Biden made $27 million yesterday. Do you know how much it cost for a picture with Biden, Obama, and Clinton? $100,000. How many of you would spend $100,000? Well, I know none of you would spend a plug nickel on a picture of Obama, Clinton, and Biden. But would you spend $100,000, say, on a picture with Trump? You probably couldn't, right? I mean, some of you could, sure, but and obviously it's a donation. You're not paying $100,000 for the picture. But my point is that we are increasingly governed and we are increasingly ruled by people who have vested financial interests in who gets elected, who sets the rules for them, and as such, they're willing to invest. They see political donations as an investment for which they're going to see a return. Yes, I am referring to essentially buying politicians, or at the very least, leasing them for 4 or 8 years or however long they serve. So as I was doing this interview, I got an email from someone who said in relevant part, Brian's answers are exactly why people refuse to give to the state party. No vision, no plan, just excuses. And I read that email to Schimming and asked him about it.
We do have a national plan, our plan that we're executing in the state and now funding for hundreds of candidates across this state is part of a larger plan, the Farm Team Plan. We do have a national plan on fundraising. We do. I mean, believe me, we spent a lot of time on this, but it is harder to pull across than people realize, and it's not just a Wisconsin thing. So I can't pretend, on one hand that the hard numbers don't matter, but on the other hand, we can't pretend that reality is different. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're dealing with nationalizing the state, and we're seeing, we're including just in the last 7 or 8 days, I think, that people understand how important Wisconsin is, and you'll see that going forward as well. For me, it's not. Look, I've been around for 63 years. And so I've seen this, and I was director of the political operations when we won the assembly. I know what the challenges are out there, but I will tell you there is a national plan in place, and some of the biggest names in this state are supporting it because they're behind the Republican Party of Wisconsin, because they know we stretch the dollar. And 2022, in all the races we won out there, we showed just how effective we can be.
But that's sort of the point. We shouldn't be stretching dollars. We should have dollars that are coming in. The Republican Party of Wisconsin, just like the Republican National Committee, the national, state, local parties, the primary goal, the primary reason for their existence is to fundraise, is to get money to candidates. Now, I do have a text here from a listener who says, "Hi, Dan, I will gladly give to an individual candidate, but I refuse to give to the Republican Party because they turn around and take the money and will give it to every rhino in the party. I will not give them a penny." That's part of the problem, okay? That's part of because, look, just as you might not like early voting because you think it's susceptible to fraud, you think it's whatever. It's an advantage that Democrats have had for years. This is why we're doing the state's largest early vote drive, to cut down on that advantage. Democrats have taken advantage of something of a loophole in fundraising. You can give unlimited amounts of money to the Democratic Party of Wisconsin or the Republican Party of Wisconsin, who will then turn around and give it to candidates. You are not allowed to earmark that money. And I'm just going to take a wild guess that these Democrat mega donors are absolutely earmarking that money, but it's, unprovable. You say it over the phone. You don't have an email to prove, hey, this money is to go to Tammy Baldwin, or this money is to go to Janet Protasewicz, or whoever it is. But the problem is that you've got a whole lot of donors, and whether it's someone who's going to give $50 or whether somebody is going to give $50,000, there's this perception, well, I can only give to candidates. Well, you're limited by campaign finance limits. You can only give a certain amount per candidate per cycle. Democrats have figured out, to their immense credit, that your dollars go a lot further when you donate to the party. I understand there is this mistrust, and this is one of the big reasons that this sort of national populism movement and this sort of revolt within the Republican Party. Did you see the buffoons down in Racine County? They're trying to do another recall against Robin Vos. I'm fairly certain you only get one chance to recall somebody. You don't get a do-over when you commit too much election fraud in the first try. I'm still researching the law on that, by the way. I'll probably have an answer for you on Monday, specifically regarding whether you can just kind of do it again. My strong suspicion is that you can't. But one of the big problems with this is this populist, Trump-backed open revolt against the Republican Party is that the best fundraising and donating mechanism that we have, where you can literally take in, if Elon Musk wanted to give the Republican Party of Wisconsin $1 billion tomorrow, he could do it, and there would be no law stopping him. If Elon Musk wanted to give all of that money to Donald Trump, he would be barred from doing so because of campaign finance limits. Democrats have recognized, and they've been openly courting California billionaires, New York billionaires, the billionaire governor of Illinois. Your money has far more of an impact in a swing state like Wisconsin than it ever could in a deep blue state like Illinois, New York, or California. So all of this money is coming in. I suspect the same thing is going on in other swing states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Georgia and Nevada and Arizona in order to affect elections. I'm not saying you need to give all your money to the Republican Party, but I am saying Democrats are taking advantage of the unlimited donations that they can give, and Republicans need to catch up. Now, where I will fault Schimming, and told him this multiple times, why are you not on the phone constantly with why are you not working every avenue, every connection you possibly could get through Reince Priebus, through Trump and his people, through the National Party, to do exactly what Democrats are doing and getting out-of-state conservative billionaires and tycoons. I mean, there's the Mercer family in Texas. They've been the benefactors of Daily Wire forever. I mean, you have got, just here in Wisconsin, Dick and Liz Eline. You've got Diane Hendricks. John Menard has really never supported Republican causes, even though he's a big conservative, as I understand it. Why not? I mean, why is there this massive Rolodex that Democrats can tap into? And I understand that a lot of that is conservatives give to churches, they give to charity, they give to... especially on this Good Friday, we understand that a liberal billionaire, Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn / Jeffrey Epstein Island Pervo, is not going to give to his church. He's not going to build a church, right? Like, take Hendricks, for example. Have you been to Beloit lately? Diane Hendricks has transformed that entire community. It's gorgeous. The amount of money that she has put in and spread around there to make that community a great place is remarkable. What has Reid Hoffman done other than funding socialist Democrats? You see the difference. So I get that. I get the difference in mindset. But what I don't get is why we are not constantly communicating this exact point that Wisconsin will be lost, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all of the swing states will be lost if we are outspent by a factor of 4 to 1, which is what's going on right now ahead of the spring election. When we come back, a Milwaukee Public Schools board member speaks out in a bombshell interview about the lack of transparency surrounding the referendum on the ballot.
Follow Dan at Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show.
More of the show next.
Join us for our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Awards, live from the Dolby Theater in Hollywood.
Monday, April 1st. Watch on Fox, starting at 7 p.m. and listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Otesla Aprenolast is a proud partner of the iHeartRadio Music Awards, a celebration of artists and the fans who got them there. The fans who make the music truly come alive through their energy and positive vibes. To the fans that make live music possible, we salute you.
Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play.
The Smith Brothers 3000 Collection Sectional at Penny Mustard is the sofa to bring this country together.
What are you talking about?
I mean, it's tough finding something we all agree on nowadays.
You can say that again.
I mean, it's tough finding something.
That's just an expression.
I think we can all agree that the Smith Brothers 3000 Sectional is pretty special.
Everybody's raving about the stunning tight back.
It's completely optionizable too, so you can design it to match any decor.
The SB 3000 smaller scale maximizes seating in a tight space without feeling cramped.
I love it because I can sit comfortably with my feet touching the floor.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, but you're a foot taller than me.
Oh, right.
My fellow shorties know what I'm talking about.
Come see the SB 3000 collection. Sophisticrafted with unsmooshable Qualex Ultrafoam seats and individual seat spring support. Starting at $53.18 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos. A better, easier way to get term life insurance. All online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The customer satisfaction rate is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So maybe you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're much happier with. Here's the number you need. 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
State's largest early vote drive continues here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. I've got an I voted sticker picture. Good Friday civic duty check. The text I got at the adventknows.com talk and text line. That's 414-799-1130. Kay and Cecil early voted in Kenosha. Thanks, Dan, for encouraging everyone to get out and vote early. It was easy and quick, no lines. We also told everyone we know to get out and vote. Hi, Dan. Because of your encouragement, my husband and I early voted yesterday in New Berlin. Thanks for all you do to always help your listeners stay engaged and participate in protecting our wonderful state and country. You are very welcome, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Really, really do appreciate it. If you would like to take part in the state's largest early vote drive, shoot us a text, 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. I had an interview yesterday on the Mark Belling late afternoon show that was something of a bombshell as MPS is trying to get a $250 million referendum passed while it's still taking in money from the federal government in the form of 3 rounds of ESSER grants that were handed out almost exactly 4 years ago in the wake of the school closures of COVID-19. MPS has gotten a total of almost $800 million, and that total rises above $800 million when you include the referendum money, $87 million of it, that MPS got just before COVID's lockdowns hit. Well, actually, right after the election took place, you might remember, on April 7th, 2020, I believe. Remember when everybody who voted was going to spontaneously burst into flames and die because Republicans were going to kill them? Never happened, of course. So remember, Dave, we were actually the ones who proved it. We actually waited 2 weeks to see a spike in COVID cases that never came. No spike in hospitalizations, no spike in deaths, nothing whatsoever. And in fact, all the hysterical Democrats had to quietly and sheepishly admit, yeah, okay, so there wasn't a big spike. Republicans didn't really kill people, but they could have. They could have. That's right. We were the ones who pointed out that while Tom Barrett was the then mayor of Milwaukee saying, well, we shouldn't vote, he in person early voted without wearing a single shred of protective equipment. No mask, no gloves, no nothing. MPS is now asking for $250 million more without telling anyone, including their own board, what they've been doing with the money that they already have. Aisha Carr joined me yesterday. You might remember on Wednesday, she was set to have a town hall meeting to discuss the referendum. She is a big opponent of it. At Washington High School. Principal of Washington High School said, yeah, of course you can use the school. It's spring break and you know, we won't have any activities or after school things, so it'll be perfect. Use Washington High School. Just 3 hours before the event was scheduled to take place on Wednesday evening, MPS notified Aisha, nope, the event's canceled. I asked her, do you think that was politically motivated?
It was absolutely politically motivated, and it just speaks to the lack of transparency that we fail to provide our constituents, especially when we're asking them to make such significant decisions that will impact everyone in the city. And so I think it's obvious to the public that this was something that was politically driven and a way to silence me and stop me from presenting facts to the community so that they can make an informed decision.
Now, I then got to talking about what she actually knew and didn't know about the money and the accounting of the money itself. She said MPS was keeping the board in the dark deliberately about A, what it plans to do with the $250 million in referendum money, and B, what I find to be just as troubling, if not much more so, what it has done with $750 million in federal grant money that it's gotten just in the last 4 years and continues to get. How is it that the district is pleading poverty now when it got just a couple of years ago nearly $1 billion in federal government cash. Her answer was kind of remarkable. She said, they haven't told us anything. I know as much as the public knows about how this money is being spent.
I have a duty to inform my constituents and my communities of what's happening. And if we're going before the community to ask for a $252 million referendum, I never thought it would be a problem to push back a bit and say, before we ask for more money, let's track where the previous dollars went. Let's look at the data and see if our allocations were equitable. And then from there, what is the plan moving forward to sustain this beyond a referendum? People can appreciate those conversations, and I think my constituents would be proud to know that I am representing their views and their opinions or their thoughts and ideas or whatever. But the bottom line is it backfires. And so that is when you find yourself being ostracized and you're now requesting the same things as the constituents, but you're in the position where you should have it. It should be readily accessible, and unfortunately it's not.
Not just to someone like you in the public, not just to someone like me in the media, but to someone like Aisha Carr, who is a school board member. I'm dead serious. I believe the state needs to get involved here. Aisha Carr is the representative of the public. She has an absolute right to know every single cent that's spent and on what. The fact that she doesn't, I think, is something of a scandal here. This is why I am encouraging everyone who lives in the city of Milwaukee, vote no on the MPS referendum. Vote yes on the 2 constitutional amendment questions to ban Zuckerbucks and left-wing activists from infiltrating our elections here in Wisconsin. The state's largest early vote drive continues. Dan, thanks for your push to get votes out early. My wife and I always vote on Election Day unless we're going to be out of town. Last week, we early voted in Mequon. That comes from Rob and Maureen. Hi, Dan. Listen to you all the time. Really appreciate you and your show. Early voted for the first time to be a part of your drive. Got my son to do the same. Thank you for your efforts to get our country back on course. That from Gene. Hi, Dan. Early voted Wednesday. First time ever. Doug and Racine. Going to vote now. Dan retired yesterday from 37 years of nursing downtown. Now I can vote in the middle of the day. It's awesome. That comes from very loyal listener, John of Tosa. Congratulations on your retirement, John. We really do appreciate your support and wish you all the best in your retirement. And my favorite text, possibly of the entire drive. It is unsigned. Just heard you on radio and was passing my town hall, so I pulled in to vote. Folks, this is what we are trying to do. Get as many people as possible, many of whom have never early voted before, to do so. Hey, How Bizarre is coming up next. Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. You hear me talking often about Mander's customer service. Well, here's one of their customers, Haley, who writes, I had a small chip in my windshield. I called and came in right away to see if it could be fixed. Mander had a glass technician in the building that day, and within 20 minutes of arriving, my chip was filled. Very friendly staff and great customer service. My husband and I have used Mander for a few needs with our vehicles, and we will continue to go to them. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Haley. Your loyalty is a reflection of Mander's extreme dedication to customer service. They'll go the extra mile as a matter of policy, and that is why I tell so many people to go to Mander. Now with 6 locations to serve you, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision or for windshield repair.
Skip waiting for a table. Enjoy a homemade fish fry every Friday at Sendik's. Sendix. Enjoy 3 pieces of beer-battered, wild-caught Northern Atlantic cod with your choice of Sendix original potato pancakes or French fries. Your meal comes with all the fixins: fresh rye bread, creamy coleslaw, homemade applesauce, and Sendix tartar sauce. Or choose from fried shrimp, walleye fillets, or baked cod. Every Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at your neighborhood Sendix. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
For 17 incredible years, WISN listeners and I have traversed the 6 continents with Cruise and Tour, creating memories that will last a lifetime. I've paused my yearly travel for now, but there's no reason why yours shouldn't continue, and the 7th continent beckons. The holy grail for world travelers, the ultimate trip, Antarctica. Cruise and Tour is embarking on a small group expedition, and this is your ticket to the adventure. Antarctica is a sight to behold with its sprawling icebergs, pristine snowscapes, and majestic glaciers. Imagine navigating untouched waters with a small group of explorers. Each landing promises a canvas of unique landscapes as you walk where few humans have ever ventured. You'll encounter wildlife along the way, including those colonies of penguins you've longed to see. But that's only half the story. Your vessel, the World Navigator, has all the modern comforts you could want and caters to just 200 guests at a time. So prepare for an all-inclusive experience like no other. Gourmet dining, unlimited beverages, enriching lectures, and expert-guided shore landings. You'll even get your very own parka and vest to keep you warm. And here's the cherry on top. The adventure begins with 2 unforgettable nights in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This journey is mind-blowing, and Cruise and Tour offers unparalleled value. From flights to sightseeing, hotels to cruising, even extras like transportation, taxes, and gratuities, it's all taken care of. Check out all the details at cruise-tour.com. Or even better, give my friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131 to request a free brochure. Don't wait too long, though. Spots will fill up quickly. Secure your spot before it's gone.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
In this seller's market, even homeowners are trying to sell their own home. But more times than not, it doesn't work out like they'd hoped. And while homes like theirs are selling, and selling fast for over asking prices, their homes aren't. So what's your next best strategy? Well, if you're looking to relieve yourself of the stress of selling your own home and still get top dollar while getting the full service benefits that an experienced realtor can give you, then look no further. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where 3.5 to 3.9% commission assures that you pay less for full service.
Grow your business regulation compliant and efficiently. InSource, the benefits companies. ConnectandSimplify.com.
Grow your business. Hire iNet for increased new business with creative genius inspired web, radio, design, all marketing. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Visit BrilloHomeImprovements.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. The next generation
is here.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
As we continue the state's largest early vote drive on this Good Friday, Dan, add another early vote to the pile in the town of Waterford. Thanks for beating the drum. The beat goes on. Dan just voted at the Jackson Town Hall and raided their candy bowl. Nice. Hope you and your family have a happy Easter. Hello, Dan. I voted early yesterday in the city of Glendale. My wife is voting today. Simple and quick. Thanks for the push. Good morning, Dan. Roman and Diana voted in Muskego this morning. Love your show. Thanks for all you do. Blessings. How about this? From loyal listener, great friend of the show, Tim. Daughter came home from school. First place I sent her, City Hall. Our house is done early voting. Thank you so much, Tim. Happy Easter to you and your family. And finally, sent from my iPhone. Hi, Dan. Just voted in the beautiful town of Westport, a stone's throw away from Lake Mendota in Madison. My husband will vote today as well. Have a lovely Easter with you and your family. Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing the state's largest early vote drive. I am hoping to get at least an approximation of how many votes we have. It's got to be over 5,000, right? No, at the end of early voting, we want more texts throughout. The end of early voting is Sunday, so you can if they'll announce. If your government will open, this is why it's 2 weeks. You just can't early vote the day before. This is why they have souls to the polls on Sundays. And this still, the city of Milwaukee and the city of Madison have more early. Now, why do you think, folks, if it wasn't an advantage for Democrats, why do you think that these cities would have far more early voting than any other city by far? Why do you think Democrats opposed so much? Remember when we made uniform early vote hours, or early vote days, I should say. You had a 2-week early voting window. Remember that? Why did Democrats oppose it? Why did Democrats want early voting for an entire month, 24 hours a day? Just crank out those votes because they recognize what an advantage early voting is. All right, time now for that segment in which we cover the stories that are a little silly, a little strange, the ones that make us cock an eyebrow and say, you've heard about the problems that people have been having lately with squatters. Democrats doing their level best to destroy the fundamental right to own property by just allowing random people to show up at your house and live there, and there's nothing you can do about it, at least in the state of New York. Hawaii is perhaps even worse. A woman is headed to court after a Hawaiian construction company built a $500,000 house on the wrong property. Her property. Annalene Reynolds says she was shocked to find a home built on a lot she purchased in Puna, Hawaii. She tells Hawaii News Now she doesn't want the house there and has to deal with problems like higher taxes and, yes, squatters. Reynolds says she purchased a lot in 2018 at a county tax auction for about $22,000. She had intended to use the land for meditative healing women's retreats. She said there's a sacredness to it, and the lot that I chose to buy had all the right qualities. She was planning how to use the property when the COVID pandemic hit, keeping her in California. While she was there, the lot was bulldozed and a house was built there. Reynolds says she knew nothing about the 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, now valued at $500,000 being built. She found out about the home when she got a call last year from a real estate broker. He told me, I just sold the house and it happens to be on your property, so we need to resolve this, she said. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Local developer Kiao Development Partnership hired PJ's Construction to build about a dozen homes on the properties the developer bought in the subdivision, but the company accidentally built a house on Reynolds' lot. According to KKTV, the lots are identified by information on telephone poles. And to add insult to injury, Reynolds is now being sued by the property's developers who say they offered to swap Reynolds a lot that is next door to hers to sell her the house at a discount as well. Reynolds has refused both offers, saying through her attorney, it would set a dangerous precedent if you could go onto someone else's land, build anything you want, and then sue that individual for the value of it. This is absolutely correct. So while this is a bizarre story, and it is very bizarre, it is also deeply troubling, and I am hoping that this woman prevails.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
A fight that began with bananas being thrown inside a gas station has led to one person hospitalized and a clerk facing charges. This occurred in Pittsburgh on Monday, according to WPXI-TV. Customer threw a banana at the gas station employees, who then threw the banana back. It was like a game of hot banana. The customer and staff then began throwing multiple bananas back and forth, police said. The customers then punched one of the workers in the face. Employee Yubaraj Budakowski, age 26, of Pittsburgh, then chased the customer into the parking lot and hit him several times in the head with a PVC pipe. The customer is currently hospitalized. Police have not said if he is facing any charges, but Budakowski, who is charged with aggravated assault and recklessly endangering another person, he is currently in the Allegheny County Jail. Jailers, please keep all dangerous fruits away from this guy.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
I said what I said. Keep the dangerous fruits away from him in jail. I mean, oranges or bananas, because the fruits in the jail could be dangerous. Yeah, because you could get the orange juice or the lemon juice in your eye. Yeah, it's just you want to stay away from the dangerous fruits in jail because you don't know, the fruit could have gone bad. Right. If the fruit is in the shower, it could be especially dangerous. It's warm, the fruit gets rotten. Oh boy. Do you want to vote for Trump? Do you want to vote for Biden? A lot of people want to vote for literally anyone else. Well, now you can vote for literally anyone else. A man in Texas has legally changed his name to literally anybody else and announced he's running for president. Formerly known as Dustin Eby, the 35-year-old is a U.S. Army veteran and 7th grade math teacher in the suburbs of Dallas. He now has a Texas driver's license to prove his name change. He said he wanted to change his name because he was unsatisfied with this year's presidential candidates. 300 million people can do better, he said, in reference to the two front runners for the nation's highest office. There really should be some outlet for people like me who are just so fed up with this constant power grab between the two parties that just has no benefit to the common person. He tells WFAA 88, it's not necessarily about me as a person, but it's about literally anybody else as an idea. Here we go. Literally anybody else 2024.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Ideally, childhood is a joyous and carefree season of life, but many children experience loss through death, divorce, addiction, and more. Healing Hearts of Southeastern Wisconsin is a community-based organization devoted to serving grieving children and their families. Trained volunteers provide peer-to-peer grief support, helping kids and their families grieve at their own level. And you can help make a difference. To volunteer or to donate, go to healingheartswisconsin.org. A message in the public interest from News Talk 1130 WISN.
So when you have a hot housing market, why would you pay 6%? I understand. Some of you might have challenging properties, houses in need of major repair, perhaps even a lot or location that just isn't all that great. Maybe you do need to pay 6%. This is Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty. Our 3.99% commission plan is perfect for every house ranging from pretty much normal to absolutely stunning. Visit redefinedrealty.com and save thousands on your next sale.
Have you ever met someone and thought to yourself, I wish I had met them sooner? That is what we hear over and over again. I wish we had met you sooner. You made what seemed to be an overwhelming process feel easy. Hi, I'm Karen Ellenbecker, founder and senior wealth advisor for the Ellenbecker Investment Group. It is true, investment planning can be daunting. Accounts scattered at several different firms, retirement accounts left behind, marriage, divorce, too much cash on hand. At EIG, we take key concepts surrounding financial planning and we break them down into easy to understand and more manageable steps. Think of us as the "you are here" arrow on a map. We help clients understand where they are, creating a sense of confidence, empowering them to navigate their unique financial map, and making informed decisions. Education and simplification are the keys to a client saying, "I wish we had met you sooner." EIG, we are advisors for real life.
This is Michael Lynch from the Lynch Truck Center. We've been working hard sourcing work trucks from all over the country. We currently have over 300 commercial work trucks in stock and ready for your choice of upfit. Our sales team is 100% dedicated to commercial trucks, which means our truck professionals can get you the right truck right now. Our new inventory of Chevrolet, GMC, Isuzu, Hino, not to mention our used inventory, combined with nearly 30 commercial financial lenders, ensures the lowest rates possible for you and the fastest buying experience. Our service center has over 20 dedicated truck bays running 2 shifts, a contact-free sales process, and delivery drivers ready to deliver your truck right to your door. We know your time is important, so we make sure our process is quick and hassle-free. Find your new truck today at lynchtruckcenter.com or stop into the Lynch Truck Center at Highway 36 in Waterford. We won't disappoint you.
Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play. Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Good Friday. I do hope all of you have a wonderful and very happy Easter. We are going to continue the state's largest early vote drive throughout the weekend. I am going to try to get a rough approximation of how many votes we swung to conservative candidates on Monday. And yes, I am well aware that the number is well into the thousands. I think I'm going to sit down with a glass of scotch and just 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, should I make the kids do that? That's a great idea, Dave. as a punishment. They didn't clean their room. You got to count up all of our early votes. My guess is I think we're near 5,000. I really do. I think we are near, between all of the texts, between all of the emails. And folks, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for doing this. I know a lot of you don't want to. In fact, I'm actually going to early vote right now. I know I sound a little hypocritical. Suffice it to say, I've been busy from about 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every weekday when my early voting location is open. But I'm heading out to do that today. I hope all of you have a blessed and joyful and very happy Easter. We are back Monday morning right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.